"Helen, what brings you here?" asked Susan. She wasn't surprised by Helen's sudden arrival. Jacob thought about it for a few seconds and realized that Susan might have already sensed Helen approaching from a few miles away. Helen got out of the car and walked to Susan and said with a soft smile, "There isn't much to do at work, so I left a bit early and came down to catch up with you." "You want to talk about Jacob, right?" Susan turned around and looked at Jacob, who wasn't standing too far away, as she said to Helen, "Don't worry, I won't cause him any trouble this month." Helen had gotten the answer she was looking for. She smiled at Susan and didn't say anything more. She looked at Jacob and gestured at him to come over. "Jacob, do you have any more classes today?" Helen asked him as he came closer. "Nope," answered Jacob. He was happy to see Helen. "Then why don't you come home with me?" Helen proposed. "We can get groceries on the way back." Jacob didn't have to think twice, as he was already supposed to go over later, and he didn't mind spending some time with Helen. He always felt calm with her around. So, without hesitating, he sat on the passenger seat of her Ferrari. Watching them drive off, Sam and his roommates were left stunned. Helen smiled at Jacob and said, "Did Susan give you the necklace? It seems like she has accepted you already." But Jacob couldn't focus on her question, as Helen was driving too fast. Let alone sitting in cars, he was used to traveling in buses. As the powerful engine of the kept roaring, it caught the eyes of the other drivers as they stopped at the red light. But even before they could try to look, Helen whooshed past them as soon as the light turned green. As they got closer to home, Helen drove to a nearby grocery store and parked the... She got off, taking the basket she had with her, and asked Jacob to come along. "Okay, let's go," Helen said to Jacob gently after she locked the car and walked into the small local store. Jacob was speechless as he followed Helen inside. As Helen walked in, some farmers gave her looks of recognition. She looked around a little and then stopped at a particular booth. Helen smiled at the vendor and asked, "Ken, how are the vegetables today?" "Fresh, absolutely fresh. I just dug them out this morning." The 50-year-old man with messy hair promised Helen proudly. Helen smiled and said, "Great. Get me 2 potatoes and 3 tomatoes. I'll make some soup when I get home." "Okay. You know I'll only pick the best for you." The booth owner laughed happily. He then picked out some potatoes and tomatoes and weighed them. He then told her the price of the vegetables. Helen took out her wallet from her stylish coat and paid the man. After that, she put the vegetables in her basket. "Come back next time," the man called after Helen. He was happy after making the sale. All right, Helen answered happily as well. She then walked to another booth and asked, "Ronnie, how are the fruits today?" "These cherries just arrived today. They are delicious," the old lady with wrinkles all over her face said to Helen. "Then let me get a pound, please." Helen took a bag and put some in. She turned around to ask Jacob, "Which fruits do you like? And what would you like for dinner?" "It's up to you. I'll eat anything," Jacob said politely. "Who is this? I've never seen him before," the granny at the fruit booth asked as she weighed the cherries. "He's family. He's visiting for a few weeks," Helen answered. "Oh, young man, you're quite the handsome lad, aren't you?" the granny said after observing Jacob. It was the first time someone had called Jacob handsome, and he didn't know how to react, so he just smiled at the sweet old lady. After buying the fruits, Helen then brought Jacob to get some meat, flour, and other vegetables. Helen chatted with every booth owner, and they were all so happy to see her. Jacob had only been to a grocery store a few times with his grandmother when he was younger. He barely went there after growing up. Grocery shopping with Helen and hearing her chat with the farmers suddenly seemed so genial to him. Once they got everything they needed, they walked out of the market together, and Jacob volunteered to hold the vegetable basket, which was now full and heavy. As they approached their car, they saw a couple of kids playing around. Some were so naughty that they even tried to climb on top of it. The old man managing the parking lot couldn't even do anything to stop them and was staring helplessly. Jacob expected Helen to shout at them. It's what he would have done. But she didn't get mad at all. She just walked up and opened the door after unlocking the car, and the kids dispersed as soon as they saw that the car owner was back. Helen smiled and shook her head. She sat in the car and waved at Jacob. "Get in the car." "Just put it in the back," Helen said, pointing to the boot space of the car. Water was dripping from the basket because of all the fresh vegetables. Jacob hesitated a little to keep it down, as it would stain the car, but Helen didn't seem to care, so he followed her instructions. Anyone else in her place would have freaked out. Helen started the car, drove it out of the parking spot, and seamlessly joined the traffic flow on the road. Jacob sat in the passenger seat and quietly watched everything Helen was doing. Helen wasn't only a famous designer, a homemaker, and Sophie's mother, but also the Dragon Queen. She had perfectly switched between all of those roles and had tried her best to do everything to the best of her ability. She had also helped raise Susan. Jacob was suddenly overcome with a sense of deep admiration for this woman. His own mother had always been busy with her work, which wasn't exactly a bad thing, but it left her little to no time to spend with him. Spending the evening today at the farmer's market with Helen gave him the same feeling he would have gotten with his own mother. Sophie is very lucky to have such caring and attentive parents, despite their busy schedule. I can see why she's so pampered. She's got all the love and attention from her parents. Such a lucky girl. Jacob got lost in his thoughts. He was jolted out of his thoughts when Helen shook him a little and he realized that she had asked him something that he didn't hear. "I'm sorry, what were you saying?" He asked her to repeat the question. "I was asking about your parents. When are they coming back?" Helen asked him again. Jacob paused for a moment and answered, "Oh, I'm not sure." Helen, who seemed to be able to read his mind, said, "You wouldn't tell me even if you knew, right?" Jacob didn't know how to answer that. Actually, he didn't want to talk about Sophie and their situation. He wasn't even sure what he would tell them or where he would start. "Fine, I'm not going to put you on the spot," Helen smiled as she understood how he was feeling. "We'll get to it once they come back." Jacob almost told her that his parents had their careers, and all the major decisions involving him were to be discussed with his grandma. It was important for him that his grandmother liked Sophie and that they got along well. Though, he wasn't very sure what his grandma would think about Sophie. He had grown to like her, but to an old woman, her personality might come off as abrasive. He wouldn't want his grandmother to dislike Sophie. Jacob closed his eyes as he sighed.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.